Hello, I'm Sergey Titarenko, creative director of Steel Hunters.
What is Steel Hunters all about? Give us an elevator pitch for this game.
Well, in a nutshell, it's a hero shooter, tactical shooter game that blends genre of extraction shooter, loot shooter into something that is unique to our game.
So where did the idea for the game, where did the concept for this game come from?
Well, we came from Wargaming legacy. You know, we have lots of World of vehicular shooter games, and it's originated in that, but we wanted to step away from this. We wanted to make a step into the hero shooter space and making a mecha themed game. Originally it was a mecha with a pilot, human being, operator sitting inside, but with time we played with the idea. We felt we need more emotional connection to the character that we see on the screen, and it evolved to a more animated player character. What you see is what you play and is what you care about. So we fused a human being and the machine together into one playable being.
Talk about your hunters, their design. They're full of so much character. They look so unique.
We were driven a lot by gameplay needs. We wanted to make a game that is very accessible, that is has a broad appeal, and it's easy to ID while playing the game if you encounter a new enemy hunter, to build your initial expectations. What this thing can do to me and what I can do to it. So we stepped into the territory of very iconic and clear visual archetypes that are connected either to cultural tropes or visual archetypes, and we are able to inhale life and connect the visuals and gameplays. It's easy to ID the enemies, easy to know what to expect from them, so in this respect we are quite different from traditional mecha shooter games. For example, we stepped into the territory of a lot of animalistic or Zoid characters that resonates really well with our players, and community really love animalistic hunters.
I love Beast Wars. That's the first thing I saw when I saw a big rhinoceros. I was like, this looks awesome. So, Wargaming is no stranger to live service games. What has your team learned from past Wargaming, either like development, creation, balance that you've applied to Steel Hunters?
Yeah, of course, we learned a lot from our past, and although we, in this game, we are changing the engine. It's first time we are shipping something with Unreal Engine 5, but a lot of the development practices we inherited from the world of games. Some of our developers used to work on the big tanks or ships.
So talk about your target audience, because Wargaming, huge game, you're massive, but that's a lot. Historical tanks, realistic tanks, now you're going into this room of sci-fi fantasy. How was that pivot for your studio?
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity, and we really love the non-historic context of this game, because we can be more creative, can connect sci-fi fiction with something that we find in real life and real references, so it's more grounded and plausible, but at the same time it gives us flexibility to be creative about designs or backstories of the character. Really a great addition to the lore of the game, because you always love to play and have an emotional connection to your player character. And we are able to connect the backstories of the hunters with what players see and feel on the screen. Characters exchange voiceover barks, they share their remarks on other hunters or their relation to the world. It's becoming more animated and impersonated, which is cool.
The word hero shooter is thrown out a lot, and people tend to roll their eyes because there's not a lot of them, and the ones that are in the market completely dominate. What are some of the challenges when breaking into that market? Because World of Tanks, World of Warships, those aren't hero shooters, those are tactical strategy games. What's some of the challenges for your team to break into that genre?
Well, there are a lot of great games in the market, and the market is very tough these days. From early on, we thought we will be able to find a good niche in between what wargaming titles are, right, such as tanks or ships, and build a moderately paced tactical hero shooter experience. And I believe we found that bridge and niche. We've been testing our game since our early days in user research or in closed alpha. We believe, and our players tell and give us a lot of feedback, that there is room for such type of game. It has a very unique core gameplay loop and formula. It's accessible to a wider audience, but at the same time it has depth. So in this regard we are very similar to the world of games, because those games are very open for everyone to come and start to play, but at the same time they build this mastery of these games, and the game is sustainable for hundreds if not thousands of battles for the player to continue enjoying this experience.
What's it been like maybe making the pivot to Unreal Engine 5? Like, take us into that conversation of why you decided to go this route.
Yeah, it was a long time ago discussion whether we continue on our proprietary engine, but a no-brainer for us was, for example, the robust animation system of Unreal Engine 5, where really we didn't want to create an engine, we wanted to make a game, right? And our choice was, let's take something that is available at the market. People already know these technologies. It's easier to build a team around a known technology than to reinvent a bicycle.
And like there are quite a few properties that I think would lend themselves well to transmedia. Like, do you guys have plans to do like graphic novel, Netflix streaming show, for example?
Yeah, we have these plans, and some of the videos already shared. For example, for the Razor Side character, that is our starter hunter. We will be creating short visual novels, like we call them internally, cartoons that narrate about the characters' backstories, about the world, because it's a PvP shooter game, and in the first place, we don't load a lot of narrative through the means of the game, but we have a lot of narrative around the game as supporting and supplementary materials.
What inspirations did your team pull through for the world and the characters? I mean, obviously, Wargaming is huge on Wargaming extraction shooters, but what other places did you look for inspiration when designing your characters and creating the world?
Yeah, this is an assortment of books and sci-fi movies. Some games also inspired some of our developers, for sure. We had a lot of school of people preferences of some genres and niche, and the team has been very attached and emotionally connected to create this new world. It's really exciting to build something new and introduce that every developer has to bring and to work together as a team on.
This is definitely a different game for Wargaming. Can you talk about how you try to pitch this to your current community who's all about that historic accuracy about their tanks and their historic accuracy of their warships? Like, how do you plan on kind of showing them this game and introducing them? Because it's still under your banner.
Yeah, this game is not purely meant to be targeting the Wargaming audience. With this game, we wanted also to expand our audience. Of course, there's Wargamers who come to us, and believe it or not, many of them has this need for more narrative and more character, even if they play ships and tanks alone. And it was really easy for us to sell this idea to the players. And they themselves were really caring to get even more stories, even more character bios, and we had to react to the needs of those characters and create more and more materials or connection between the character and the world, introducing more and more themes and tropes.
What's the biggest misconception from someone looking at your job as a creative director? Like, what do you think they misunderstand about your title and job?
Well, the biggest, I think, is quite common, is people think creative director thinks of everything and creates everything in the head, this construct, and then it's instilled upon the development team, but it's not the way it works, usually. Very often and frequently I'm driven, okay, I love this idea personally, but if I see them excited about something, I'll change things around, I'll make room for them, because this passion, when people have care and are able to introduce their needs, really drives their motivation to get much better results than, for example, I come with an idea and I insist on following this idea from conception to creation. So really an invitation to every creative director is, how do you delegate this creativity and how do you manage this creativity so that it doesn't turn to a chaos, but it's more of a controlled and constructed democratic involvement of everyone and inclusion of ideas from the team and beyond the team. The community, of course, is coming with a lot of ideas that sometimes are really a new and a bright angle on things, and you are admired at level of quality of those ideas that are brought in, and with a little bit of care and tweaks, you are able to make it a consistent whole as a product, as a package, and this is really cool.
You're on PC right now. Do you guys have plans for PlayStation and Xbox moving forward?
Yes, definitely. In around 1 year, we plan to release on console platforms as well, with the cross-play opportunities.